Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So you might recognize not only an iconic backdrop, but also an iconic face. So if you can't tell, we're actually at the Unisport Web TV studio with none other than the infamous boot expert, J-Mike. J-Mike, what's up, man?
Well, it's good, man.
Good to see you. So,
good to have you. Welcome to the boot cave, the nerd room, the one and only.
Actually, my third time here.
Yeah.
But the previous two times, you were nowhere to be seen. I think you were on vacation or something.
I know, I'm
so.
sorry. I'm
No,
sorry. But we're here. We had to film a video here, right?
That's right. Absolutely. And with that in mind, we're actually going to talk about football boots today and kind of get some suggestions on how to make the right choice for you. Because as you can see, there is a lot of options out there.
Yeah.
So, in fact, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, you've probably worn or at least tested out every single pair of boots on this wall,
Yeah.
which is a lot of football boots.
400 plus, yeah.
If you had to predict a rough estimate of how many shoes you've worn in your entire life, could you put a rough guess together?
450, I think.
That's a lot of football boots.
That's a lot of football boots, yeah. And you know, I've made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've bought a lot of football boots. I've had a lot of football boots to test. But basically, we're here today to try and help you not make the same mistakes that I have and that you've probably also made.
Yeah.
How many boots have you worn?
Certainly nowhere near as many as you, but I mean, I've played for 20 plus years now. I'm probably within that time, maybe 40, 50 pairs. So don't quite have the experience you have, but at the same time, I've certainly made some mistakes, certainly made some good choices as well. So hopefully together, we can come up with maybe a few what to do's, what not to do's to help you kind of make a good choice, because it's important. Football boots are important.
I mean, to some people, let's get this straight. Football boots aren't gonna, make or break your game or the way you play. It's not gonna turn you into a better player, but football boots, to some people, are just an important tool. I mean, I really like it. It makes a big difference for me, and I guess it does for you as well. I mean, we all know the sensation of getting a crappy pair of football boots, and it just makes you feel clumsy or slow, or if something doesn't feel right, it can really go and mess with your head. And if something messes with your head, we all know you can play worse.
Yeah.
So to some people, getting the right pair of boots can be very important from a mental perspective. It can also lead to injuries if you take like a seriously wrong size. So it is important that you get the right pair. But let's start off from the beginning, right? Because in order to get a pair of football boots that is right for you, you need to figure out what you want.
Exactly.
Need to figure out what you want in a football boot, what you expect in a football boot, and also what you personally like. So one thing could be to look at the feet of Ronaldo or Messi and say, oh, he's wearing Mercurials or he's wearing Nemesis. I want those. But that might not really mean that you want that. Maybe you want a slightly more comfortable, plush, elegant feel of a leather boot. Maybe you want a super thin, lightweight sensation of a speed boot. Or you could go for something that has a bit more bulk to it, so it gives you a bit more texture, a powerful sensation on the ball. That's up to you to figure out. So you need to figure out as well what you're looking for.
Yeah, so understanding your style of play, your personality, and what's going to work for you. Because just because it works for somebody else does not mean it's going to work for you as well. We're all very different. We're all individuals. So figuring out the expectation of the shoe. So like Jay said, if you want a boot that's lightweight, going with something like a Predator that has more of a bulky feel, even though it's a great boot for some people, it just might not work for you. So you really need to kind of figure that out for yourself.
And the thing is, you also need to, as far as possible, to go and try it. And you might think, okay, I want a lightweight speed boot, I want a Mercurial, I want the X. And then you go and try it, and usually these boots are really, we're gonna get into that, but they're really narrow, and it just doesn't feel right. Or you think, okay, the material is too stiff or it's too thin. So a lot depends also on how it feels on your foot, what you're looking for. So you gotta figure that out first before you can buy the right boot for you. Now the second thing is that, touching a little bit on in the previous topic, that you get the fit and the size right. Because if you don't, you might as well have bought the wrong boot. You can get the perfect boot for you, but if the sizing or the fit is wrong, it's never going to work. Now, obviously, finding the right size can be a little bit difficult. Usually, if you go to places like unisportstore.com, you can get a very extensive size guide. We've basically measured every boot we have on stock on the inside, so you can go and measure your own foot and figure out, okay, is this the boot for me? But also just kind of try to figure out if you have a wide foot, then you probably need a wider boot. Could be a Puma Future, could be a Predator, or a Nike Phantom Venom, for instance. Vision, for that matter, would be good too. Mizuno Rebula 3 is also very wide. Or if you have a more narrow foot and you would fit better into a Morelia Neo 2 or Mercurial Vapor or an X even. So that's something you kind of need to figure out. And then also make a decision on, do you want to go high cut or low cut? So a lot of stuff to be decided here as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of nuances, like you were saying. So trying out the different brands, they might have certain qualities to them that just might not feel right. So if you have any small discomfort, and I think the great thing about football boots these days, they've been made so well that you can now pretty much wear them out of the box with minimal to no break in time whatsoever. So once you put them on your feet, you pretty much know the experience you're going to get. So it is worth trying them on, because if there is something like it feels a little bit too narrow on the midfoot or the heel's a little bit uncomfortable, you're going to experience that later down the line. It's not going to get better. And so that small distraction can take your focus off the main thing, which is playing football. You don't want to be worrying about the game, but also worrying about the comfort of your footwear as well. So,
and for me, this point is the biggest. Like, get the right size, get the right fit, and if you're in doubt, what I usually did was that I simply just bought 2 sizes. So if I was in doubt, if I was sitting in between the size or which size was the right one for me, I just bought 2 sizes and I sent the wrong one back. I tried them on because a lot of people buy boots online and they can't, just try it out, take home the right pair, so to speak. So buy it and return them. You're gonna get your money back. Or an even better tip: if you buy Mizuno, they have this 30-day satisfaction guarantee, so you can actually get them, try them on at home, play in them for 30 days, and if you for some reason don't like him, which is unlikely, well, you can just send him back.
Yeah, I finally got to try out some Mizunos recently, and they are incredible boots, but that's a whole another topic. But moving on, so we've talked about comfort, we've talked about getting the right size, the right fit. Going into more of performance aspects of the boot, I think some people are under the misconception that sometimes a football boot might enhance an ability that they actually don't possess already. For example, someone might be a slow player and they think by purchasing a pair of Mercurials, their speed will actually increase. Is that the case?
No. And that is a big mistake you can make, thinking that, okay, if I buy Ronaldo's boots, I'm gonna play like Ronaldo. Take me, for example. I'm relatively fast, but also, there are certain aspects of my game that could be better. By putting on a pair of Venoms, I'm not gonna strike the ball better.
Right.
It might feel different, and I might get a different experience, and thus I might convince myself or take away some of the, the uncertainties in my head. I simply might be mentally in a better place when I play, but it's not actively just by being the boot in itself gonna enhance my playing abilities. For me, all you need to understand is that, I think for most people, at least, the football boot changes the way you feel, how you feel in your head, and that determines how you play. So no, there's no physical or technical advantage whatsoever, no matter which boot you jump into, at all. So don't expect that when you buy boots.
I can agree with you, and also I'm a big fan of the Mercurials, a winger just like yourself, but is it fair to say that it does give you that confidence? So if you are someone who uses speed as a big part of their game, feeling lighter on your feet, feeling that barefoot-like experience, that can give you that confidence. But at the end of the day, it's your training, it's your actual natural abilities that are going to carry over. But you can complement that with the right boot choice.
Absolutely. I mean, the Vapor is a very springy boot. You feel like there's a little bit of extra responsiveness when you push off. And we often talk about how we feel on our toes, and it's like a ballet boot, right? But again, this is more in the what do you want in a football boot category than actually enhancing your ability.
Yeah. And with that, I think a lot of players, I certainly get this question a lot. I'll get, hey 7MLC, I'm a winger or I'm a central midfielder. What is the best boot for me? What's your thoughts on that?
How can you know? Because you don't know, well, the two first points, you don't know what they want, and you don't know the fit requirements, so to speak. Look, I understand that if you don't know what you're looking for, and you say you're a winger, you look at a lot of wingers, they wear often speed boots. And you'd be inclined to wear speed boots as well. And it might work, but there's no rule saying that wingers need to wear speed boots. You can also look at Paulo Dybala. He wears a Copa.
Yeah.
And it's a great boot. I'm a winger. I love the Copa 19 Plus. So again, ignore everything. Just focus on getting the boot that you like, which suits your needs and your, fit requirements. And don't worry about the whole positioning thing. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And with that, we already kind of touched upon it, but don't just necessarily buy a boot based on your favorite pro, because they have their foot type, you have yours.
Yeah.
The chance of them being exactly the same is very rare.
Is second to none. Now, another thing you do need to focus on is the outsole. Obviously, you can get the normal, I would say. I dropped everything. You can get the normal outsole, which is typically FG boots. If you play on natural, firm pitches, a lot of people would prefer FG boots, and it's kind of the safe option to go for. But, I mean, you probably play a lot on AG.
Yes.
I play a lot on artificial pitches. If you do play primarily on AG pitches, it's a good idea to actually get one of the AG-specific boots. Not only because they're actually made to be more durable, and thus they're going to last you longer, so you don't have to buy new boots all the time. But actually, they're also going to be better for your joints and your knees because they're made with hollow studs and more circular studs that don't grip the ground and penetrate too much, so they don't stick as much in the ground.
Yep.
Which means that the risk of getting very bad injuries is smaller, simply. Or if you are so lucky that you play on very nice pitches that get watered, or you're so unlucky that you play on really muddy pitches, you can go and get an SG outsole, for instance, anti-clog here, which actually also has mud sliding off of it when it gets wet. So there's a lot of options out there, but my tip is here, go with the surface that you play on the most. If you play on AG a lot, don't buy FG. Buy an AG pair of boots because they can usually also be used on FG pitches. And for the love of God, do not buy SG boots unless you play on soft, muddy pitches, and do never, ever, ever use them on artificial pitches. You're gonna kill yourself, kill your knees, and kill the pitch.
Yeah. And it sounds obvious to say, but you do see this happening a lot. And from personal experience, I have worn incorrect footwear on the wrong surface, I should say, and I have sustained injuries probably as a result that could have been prevented by wearing the right one. So
it's better for your body, it's better for your wallet. I'm just saying. And it's better for you, the grip in the ground. They're made for this, so yeah.
Yeah. And also touching on sizing again, with the different brands, some of them offer different sizes. I've known from wearing Nike and Adidas that I wear a certain size in Nike, but it's not the same size in Adidas. And I've made that mistake as well, I think just last season, because since the F50 Adi Zero was no longer available, I switched to Mercurials, loved them ever since. And then last season I thought I would try the X. So I went to my normal size and realized they were a little bit shorter. I needed to go half a size up. And actually both of my big toenails came off, which was a big mistake. Very, very painful. Almost more painful than actually spraining something or...
Let me give you a little bit of an inside tip then. I'll stop looking at UK or US sizes.
Yep.
Look at the Japanese size.
Okay.
Because there you measure in centimeters. If you know the approximate length of your foot, you can go for the Japanese size and it's the same every time.
Wow.
At least in my experience.
I didn't know that.
I have a 250 millimeter foot.
Okay.
Ish. So I always go for Japan 250. And it works every time.
Well, so I'll never be making that mistake again.
Exactly.
That is a great tip.
The last topic here, we talked a little bit about your wallet. Because you also got to figure out what is your budget here. If you don't have the money to buy the high-end boots, don't set your hopes up or set your mind on, for instance, a Superfly. Because it's a very expensive boot. At least not the latest colorway. So if you have a little less money, find out what's within your budget and potentially look at older colorways or older generations of the high-end boots that are usually on sale. So figure out, all the different factors on what you want, what surface you need to play on, what size you need, and what you can actually afford. And it should give you a very good indication of which kind of boot you need to get.
Yeah, it's perfect. Well, with that being said, we're very lucky to be sitting down here with a boot expert. He's got a lot of knowledge for you. And with that being said, you should definitely go over and check out Unisport. If you're one of those 4 people watching that has not yet to discover Unisport, not only does Jay give a lot of advice on football boots, which is going to help you, but they do a lot of tutorials, skill-based videos, lots of different videos with advice to help you improve your game as well. And Jay, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind giving one of your iconic outros for us.
Yeah, I mean, with that said, go subscribe to our channel. Of course, being on this channel, if you haven't already subscribed, I don't know where you've been. It's obviously very good. It helps you improve as a footballer. I've learned a lot sitting next to this tech legend. So go hit that subscribe button as well. Hit the little bell notification button, it's called. And I think with that said, if you have any questions, leave a comment right down below. And I think all that's left to say is that we're signing off.
Cheerio.